Welcome to the Lead Pedal Podcast with your host, Bruce Outridge, where he talks all things trucking. Now let's get rolling.
Hey, how's everybody doing today? Welcome to another edition of the podcast. This is episode number 1402, and today we're going to be talking about building a relationship with your insurance company. Why is that important, especially as an owner-operator? Well, there's a number of reasons for that, but I'm going to tell you about them right after I tell you about RIMS Transport, another owner-operator-based company. They're based out of Hamilton, Ontario, and they are looking for people who are interested in end dump and bulk tanker work. If that is you and you have experience in those areas, they're looking for local drivers right now. Go to rimstransport.com or give Margaret a call at 905-512-2102. She's in recruiting. She'll tell you about that as well. All right, let's get into it and why we should build a relationship. I was recently at the Fleet Safety Council, had their spring seminar. They have it every year at the end of March. The whole focus was on insurance. And this piece I found very interesting because they were talking about relationships and why you should be building this. And this is something I've been hearing from other groups and other experts for a long time, that if you are, when we get into hard times like we are now and uncertain times like tariffs and all that, the secret to getting through that is to building relationships with your insurance people so they can help you weather that storm. And the reason you want to do this as an owner-operator, accidents are becoming more common. How do you deal with those? You might be a really safe driver, but everybody on the road is getting more aggressive and it's getting to be more of a challenge. The days of just, hey, a handshake, you bend my bumper, here's $500, let's call it a day. Those days are gone. They might be taking your $500, but they are also going back and claiming it again, and that can affect your insurance. And a lot of small carriers are not getting renewed. Have you noticed that? There's a lot, actually not even just small carriers, a lot of large carriers. Insurance companies are getting very selective on who they renew, why they renew, because they don't want to take the risk anymore. So being able to have a relationship with your insurance provider and finding out exactly what type of things they're looking for, how you can improve your operation, and hopefully how you can keep your insurance costs down and renew. I know I'm talking to my insurance company a lot more than I used to.
And insurance companies are understaffed, claims departments are overwhelmed, people have 400 claims, they just can't get to them. That's pretty much across the board. Not at my firm, obviously. We are well staffed, but it's very challenging when you're calling and you're getting a queue, you're just getting someone on the line. I think that's the value of your broker relationship, because your broker is you're not the only client they have with Northbridge, let's say, so they might be able to make a call for you, help you escalate. So, including your broker and leaning on them in that moment. That's what you bought the insurance for, right? Is this moment now that you need help, you have a problem, you're not getting responsiveness. For our point of view, when we're dealing with our clients, we're always trying to manage expectations because it can really run away from you, especially folks that have, if you've been a trucker for 40 years in Ontario, what happened 40 years ago is not what's happening now. So I hear a lot from my clients like, that's not how it used to be, or I had this other claim. It's like, no two claims are the same. Just because it was a rear end collision in Ontario in 2010, it's a totally different world now. So it might still be a rear end collision, but here's all the things that are different. So definitely within our team, I'm sure, my colleagues as well, their teams were trying to communicate to the clients and try to set those expectations early. But the system is stacked against the commercial truck. That is just the way that it is. And no one said fair. It's not gonna be fair. Write a lot about the system within Ontario, the direct compensation system, litigation process, you name it. It is not fair. But I don't think we ever sold on fair. Certainly not in our policy. So, it's gonna be a frustrating process. And I think just, our role on the broker and client management side is to explain that to you and keep that communication open. But it can be very slow. Litigation is very slow. Even when you're right and the other person's wrong, you're not at fault, you're suing to get your money back in the US, let's say, where you can do that, it's slow. So buckle in. It is a frustrating process. There's really no there's no way to sugarcoat that, I guess.
Absolutely. All right, so there you go. That was a great panel discussion. Before we close out, let me tell you a little bit about RS2000 Tax Services. That's right. If you're this is tax season for sure. If you're in the trucking or farming industries, and you certainly want to know about RS2000 Tax Services, just go to rs2000tax.com. We use them ourselves. We know that they're excellent, and they can certainly help you. All right, so if you're looking for start making some of those inroads in relationships with your insurance provider if you want to keep yourself abreast of any changes, especially to do with accidents, that kind of thing. Make sure you report everything. That's what I got as a big thing, take away from that. And make sure that you reread and understand who your provider is if you're on a lease program and what you are entitled to. That can make a big difference these days. Hey, subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts, and we will talk to you later, my friends. Be good out there. Bye for now.
This has been another episode of the Lead Pedal Podcast. For more information or to subscribe to the podcast, visit theleadpedalpodcast.com and be sure to follow the podcast on Facebook and Twitter.